Yes everyone, thanks for tuning in to another video. Hope you're having a cracking day wherever you are. So before we get into the video, as always, if you've got any comments or you like the content, please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, all the usual stuff, and let's get into it. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about some techniques that I think are very useful in terms of fixing bad posture. Now, bad posture, of course, it isn't good for many reasons, but also, from a mental health perspective, if you're walking around all the time like this, it sends some sort of signals to the subconscious that essentially you're not feeling in a confident state. So obviously, there's different types of bad posture, but today we're going to be focusing on kyphosis, or I'm going to be focusing on kyphosis, which is this. Your shoulders round and forward, and basically you're looking like you've got a hunchback. Excuse me, I know my t-shirt's off for this video, but I thought it would be better for the purposes of demonstrating the correctional exercises that I'm going to suggest. So, why does this happen? There's a list of reasons. Obviously, it can be sort of muscle imbalances. In today's day and age, we live in a world where this position is promoted when you're driving a car, when you're looking at your phone, when you're working at a desk. Hence why standing desks are becoming very popular, because people like to stand up tall and, they can work like this. Makes sense, right? Anyway, so these are just a few exercises which I think and stretches which, can help you in terms of improving bad posture. And even if you haven't got bad posture, I think they're just good to do anyway, just to sort of help balance out the imbalances one is likely to create, as it were. So the first one is some banded rows. So if you haven't got one of these, a resistance band, these are super useful tools. You can train at home and just use them for anything. I use them with clients all the time. So let's imagine there's a pole right here. You're gonna wrap this either end of the pole. So I'm holding one side of the band in each hand. You wanna promote a good, strong, upright posture. When you've got the kyphosis, essentially what you want to do is, as much as possible, you want to do this, because that's what's going to sort of go against the bad posture and, counteract it, as it were. So let's say I'm holding the band in either hand here. Here's the resistance. You're going to chest up, shoulders back and down, and you're going to row it in as far back as you can. Now, my posture is pretty good, but, still it's something to work on. And you just want to row it in. Real slow and controlled. Make sure you stand back so you've got a little bit of resistance, and that's just going to strengthen the back muscles and also help you stand in this position, and also just bring more awareness to how you're standing at that current time. So some banded rows. You can do standing, seated. I would suggest doing them in a standing position. So that's the first exercise, and I would do 20 reps of those 3 times a day, really. Next one is, if you've got one of these, it's great. If you haven't, don't worry. You want to get a foam roller. Now, typically this is best done against the floor. I'm going to try and demonstrate it standing up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a very good job, so please forgive me. So if you imagine I'm lying on the floor, and this is in between my shoulder blades. Now I've got the bottom end, sort of, where my tailbone is, just at the very bottom of my spine, and then the back of my head's going to be also against the foam roller. And then also you want to try and push your lower back down into it, and then keep your chin tucked. From there, so let's imagine I've got this foam roller in between my shoulder blades. I'm going to take my arms to the ground. So imagine the backs of my hands are touching the ground now, as are this part of my arms, hopefully, and my elbows. And keeping them as close as I can to the ground as possible, I'm then going to take them up above the head like this. Now this can be really difficult, especially if you've got bad posture. It's difficult for me. Reason being is, when you've got kyphosis, this position, what happens is your chest muscles, because they're in a shortened position all the time, they become really tight. And so when you do that, essentially what you're doing is you're really sort of stretching this area here. So it can be really difficult. You want to do it as slowly as you can. I would say at a pace like this. And you want to push back. You're probably going to feel it. Now, if you haven't got a foam roller, you can also do it against the floor. I mean, sorry, not against the floor, against the wall. So if you imagine there's a wall behind me, I'm gonna just turn this a little bit. Maybe I'll be able to demo it here. So, got some stuff here, let me move out of the way. So you're gonna stand about maybe 6 inches away from it. Again, you're gonna push your lower back into it, bring your head down, tuck your chin. So already, this is a difficult position for me to hold. You're then gonna take your arms like this, try and get the backs of your hands to touch the wall behind you, and then do the same action. You know, if your chest is a little bit tight, you're probably not going to be able to get your arms all the way up overhead. You know, it's challenging. So do some banded rows, some snow angels, and stretch your chest. This is one I really like to do a lot. So hand behind your head. You want to bring your elbow in a position where it's, you know, it's higher than your shoulder. Just be mindful, don't force it too much. And then you want to have an intention of lifting your chest and then turning out like this. And you should sort of feel it stretch all along here, hopefully. Another one you can just do is this, you know, more typical, and turn like that. You know, there's also sort of other basic exercises you can do. You know, even if you just do this, so you stand up tall, you know, lift your shoulders back and down, chest up, and you just hold this for like a minute, and do that for 3 times. That's also gonna promote the good posture. And essentially, I wanted to talk about this because if you've got bad posture, it's probably going to contribute to you feeling less confident, and therefore, you know, not be as good for your mental health. And of course, there's all the physical issues that come along with that as well. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you got some value from it, you know, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome day, as always.